Hi, welcome back to the Art of Business English, and hello and welcome. It is almost that time of year again. It's almost Christmas. So hopefully everyone's going to be having a happy Christmas this year despite everything that's happened during 2020. So this bringing us really to the end of quite a dramatic year. And today I'm going to really just be finishing my two-part series into the passive voice. Last week, we released an episode on how you can use the passive. There's many different forms of the passive voice in English and how we use them. Also, the structure that you can use and how you can form the passive voice. All the different tenses, the verb tenses for using the passive voice. And then I looked at some language for reports and how you can, use the passive in your report writing to make it more professional and, to seem like a bit more higher level than just very direct and personal speech, making it less direct and therefore more formal. And today I'm going to wrap up this series into the passive. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can use the passive voice for reporting and to talk about services or things that need doing. Okay, so these are very useful structures. We use them a lot. Remember, I said that last week. In English, we use the passive voice a lot. So let's dive in and take a look at using the passive voice for reporting and talking about services. Okay, so welcome. Now, let's check it out. So basically what we're going to cover today is we were looking at reporting verbs and reporting with the passive voice. If you don't know what reporting is, I'll quickly go into that in a minute. Okay, so don't worry about that. And also have or get something done. This is when you have services done for you. I did touch on that last week. And finally, I'm going to look at need plus ing. So this is really useful as well because we do use this a lot in English. So let's have a look at reporting. So reporting with passive verbs, just so like you know what the reporting verbs are, like what reporting is. Basically, when you're reporting, you are telling like someone what someone said to you. So you're reporting to them information. So it's like someone said something to you. So then you go on and tell someone else in maybe different words what the person told you. Okay, so that's really important because it's very important skill in business and a very important communication skill because the effective transmission or transfer of information to people is really important to ensure that things are done correctly and that there's no misunderstanding or miscommunication. So really important to understand reporting in English. And I can look into that another day in another episode. If you'd like, just drop me a comment in over at the website or on social media. And if you'd like me to go into detail about reporting and how we do reported speech in English, then not a problem there. So organizing information in a text. So with reporting verbs and verbs of thinking or feeling, we can use the following, okay? It plus the passive verb plus that. So let me give you an example of some of the verbs we often use when we're reporting. So we can say agree, announce, argue, believe, claim, decide, disclose, expect, hope or feel, know or predict, recognize, report, say, suggest, think, and understand. So you can really understand, you can really appreciate, these verbs are about thinking and feeling. So we're really transmitting the thoughts and the feelings of others when we report. Okay, so that's quite an extensive list. It'll be up on the blog post, so check out that at the website. Let me give an example of how we can structure this or put these words together to form a passive reporting verb structure. It was felt that the facilities were in need of renovation. So if we're looking at, and as a continuation of last week's episode about, using the passive voice in a report, If we say it was felt that the facilities were in need of renovation, that's a very formal and indirect way of saying some people were of the opinion that the facilities were old and therefore needed to be renovated. But we don't say some people because we don't know who those people are. And we want to write really in this passive indirect way. So we would say it was felt that. It was agreed that. It was agreed in the last meeting, for example. It was agreed in the last meeting. That's also another nice passive structure. We don't need to, explain who were the individual members at that meeting. What's important is that if you know that that meeting took place with the board of directors, what's more important is what decision was made as opposed to who made the decision. We know who made the decision. So it was felt, it was agreed, it is often claimed. These are all great passive structures that we use often in our writing to make it sound very formal and less personal. Okay, let's also look at some other ones. So, subject plus passive verb plus to infinitive. So we often use this structure, subject plus a passive form of a verb and to plus infinitive or to infinitive. So the common verbs that are used with this are ask, believe, consider, estimate, expect, feel, know, mean, report, say, see, suppose, think, and understand. Okay, so those are also verbs that are commonly used in this structure. Let me give you some examples. Our sports facilities are said to be among the best in the country. Okay, so this basically means people say our sports facilities are the best in the country. But we don't need to say people say that because it's obvious. And if we write it in this passive way, maybe in some of your marketing material, you want to add prestige or more formality to your services or your facilities or the products and services that you deliver. So you can use this type of language. Our wine is said to be some of the best in the region. Okay, so if we use these passive forms and these passive structures with the infinitive said to be, for example, or are expected to be, or are thought to be, then it's going to sound much more formal and maybe a bit more prestigious. So it depends on who the target reader is, and it depends on the purpose of the written communication. But by doing this, we can really make our language sound pretty nice and pretty formal and quite prestigious in this case. So another one, this building is believed to be the oldest in the town. Okay, again, maybe we'd read this in a tour guide or a brochure. So that's really important to understand and grasp. And it's really easy once you know and memorize those verbs, those typical verbs that are formed or used in these forms, then you can really just throw those sentences out there, and it's going to make your writing seem much more formal and much more native. Okay, let's move on to the second part of this lesson episode. Have and get something done. This is really common in English, and it's for services. So let's look at have or get something done. You can use either have or get something done. Both get or have, they're both the same. Okay, so it's really used in a situation where someone performs a paid service for us, okay, in this situation. And we use have or get plus an object and plus the past participle of the verb. So let me show you with an example. You'll need to have your photo taken. Someone else will take your photo, okay? So please go over there, you'll need to have your photo taken. Maybe, you're at an event, and instead of saying, that man will take your photo, you will say, you will need to have your photo taken. It's a little bit more formal and less direct, more impersonal. You can also say, in informal English, get is also used. Yeah, I did mention this. Now, to be honest, the difference between informal and formal in this context is very subtle, so I wouldn't worry too much if you use get or have, okay? But have, I guess, is probably the easiest one. But sometimes you say, I'm getting my car fixed, okay? Or I'm having my car fixed, but I'm getting, okay? So yeah, just think about that in terms of the pronunciation and the way it would sound. So an example would be, I got my photo taken yesterday, okay? Or I had, you could say the same with had. I had my passport photo taken yesterday. Now you'll see, again, you can use this in different tenses, not in the present or in the past or in the future. I will have my photo taken tomorrow, okay? Or you can use it for in the progressive tense, like something that's occurring now. For example, I'm having my car fixed because I crashed into my neighbor's car. Oops, sorry. I was tired. That's a true story too. I actually did crash into my neighbor's car in the car park at work. Oops. So yes, I'm having my car fixed now. Okay. All right. Let's look at part 3. There's not much to have and get something done. So, it's pretty straightforward, okay? I'm having my hair cut. I'm getting my hair cut. I will have my car fixed hopefully by tomorrow. Okay, so let's move on to need plus ing, and this is also pretty easy. It's when something is required to be done. Okay, so let me show you how this works. We can sometimes use need plus ing as an alternative to the passive to say that it is necessary to do something without stating who will do it. Okay, so again, let me give you an example. Some facilities need improving around the campus, meaning it is necessary to improve some facilities. So in your report, you can use this structure when you really want to make a suggestion about what needs to be done, but you don't really assign that task to anyone. So you're being you're not being specific at all about who that task should be done by. Okay, so some facilities need improving around the campus. My house really needs painting. The walls are scratched. I don't know. My car needs fixing because it's always breaking down. Okay, so these things that need doing. So it's something that will happen in the future, and it's a necessity, but you're not really assigning a subject or a person who would do that. Okay, so that is basically need plus ing. So pretty straightforward, not very complicated. And that, my friends, is the end of our lesson here today on the Art of Business English. So I hope you really understood the passive. Last week, you should go back and check out episode 146, I think it is. Yeah, 146. I'll put it in the show notes, of course. And there you will be able to see all the different tenses in which we can use the passive voice. You'll see different uses, different ways. There's all the forms, and there's the use. Then we talk about reporting, language for reports. So really quite a detailed lesson. It's very difficult. Maybe this lesson was a little easier because I've broken it down clearly into the 3 parts. But yeah, the passive voice is a really useful structure. We use it a lot in English, maybe not as much in other languages, especially my Spanish-speaking colleagues here in Barcelona. They get a little bit confused with the passive. But once you master some really fixed set expressions and phrases, it can go a long way to making your English sound a whole lot better. Now, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and also give me some feedback. I'm always happy to answer your questions and help you out in any way. And really, just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope that you have got, happy vibes coming in for 2021. I'm sure most people are hoping and looking forward to 2020 just going by the wayside, because no one's really enjoyed this year of pandemic confinement and mask wearing and all the rest. Now, next week I'm going to just give you a little quick episode on my some reflections and stuff from 2020, and my thoughts, some of the things that we've learned, some of the things maybe we can look forward to in the next year. And once again, thank you very much for being with me this year, and I hope you've enjoyed all of the content, and I hope you're finding it useful. I hope you're learning and improving, and I'll be here again next year, so stay tuned for more. Take care. That's it from me. Bye for now.